story didn't start in a boardroom or in the House floor, and we don't come from a background, a long lineage of politicians or business people. Our story starts in a small rural rancho or village in Mexico, when our two parents made a big decision, a big choice.
And a lot of people talk about moving to America like it's just a change of address. But for our parents, it was a total gamble of their lives. They didn't half-ass the move to the United States. They knew the stakes were high. They knew people died crossing the border every single day.
And they chose a future that they couldn't see, a future that was full of uncertainty. And going to a country that in a way works against them and doesn't always welcome them. And not to get philosophical, but when it comes to this concept of all in, it's more than just politics. This is something that involves how we live our lives, and therefore the actions that we take. And our family, our parents' story of looking for a better life is a great example of that. Why? Because you can't half-ass a better life. You have to go all in.
And they call us
The American Dream. But I will say, Art, for a long time, it did not feel like a dream. To be frank, on the contrary, it felt more like a nightmare. There was always the looming fear growing up that our family was going to be separated, even to this day. Because of our family's parents' status, they always had to juggle and find odd jobs to make ends meet. And because of the fact that we were bilingual, we were their voice.
And right now, so many families continue to live in that nightmare.
So regardless of whether you come from a family like ours, or from a family that has been here for generations, the truth is that most Oklahomans right now are struggling. And all of you, all of us here in this room tonight are in the front lines to fight for something better. We are literally in the trenches. Literally in the trenches.
And that's what makes our work that much more important. We might have grown up with a lot of obstacles, grown up in that poverty. We saw the fear in our parents' eyes when they didn't know if they would be able to make ends meet, to pay rent or buy groceries. But they were all in for us, working long hours, oftentimes for not enough pay.
And from a very young age, we knew that if we wanted to go further, we would have to take responsibility. And that's having the ability to respond. So we have to be part of something bigger than us.
And that's what eventually let us become and be the first in our family to graduate as engineers.
And also gave us, yeah, shout out. Engineering isn't easy, y'all. And also gave us the opportunity to buy our family's first home.
Thank you. And now we have the privilege to serve all of you in this state as these engineers,
as board members and volunteers,
as state legislators. And so when I stand alongside our elected Democrats at the state capitol, it's a huge shout out to our Senate and House Dems. As we fight for working people. And I'm not just talking about policy. I'm talking about the people who made sure people like us had a seat at the table. I'm all in so that the next generation of Oklahomans can see leaders like us, leaders that look like them, leaders that talk like them, leaders that understand their struggle.
And when I work to manage the party's finances, which huge shout out to the teams that I get to work with the ODP, shout out to them, or create a nonprofit focused on inspiring kids to be the next engineers, innovators, and leaders of the world, I have to be all in. Because I know that the American dream isn't a gift. It's a commitment that needs to be both cultivated and protected for the future generations.
And this, the struggle, the success, and the fight to keep the door open, this is the American dream. This is what we're fighting for tonight.